Hogan's trail elbow is the key to all ball striking. Maybe a slight overhype, but I truly believe it can make a huge difference to how you repeatedly strike the golf ball and make you play better golf forever. So the first thing I want to discuss really is how this trail elbow moves. Now, if you take a band, I've got it just off an alignment rod here on the ground here, and I move my trail elbow poorly, that's a very different sensation to moving my trail elbow correctly. So ideally I want the elbow to beat the hand, and then from there, then start to rotate and compress the arm to the pec and feel that these hands then would work on a more inward path. Now, the lighter the band you have, the easier this is to do, but just training this move on the practice ground or at home could be a game changer for how your elbow works in delivery. Now, I'm also going to share with you various other ways of doing this correctly, some hitting drills and some practice swing drills that are going to make you feel the same thing. But we're really after getting this trail elbow to be in front of this hip and then deliver the hand pressure on the golf ball correctly. So that band drill really is a truly great way of feeling how this elbow should move. And when you put the golf club back in your hand, it feels really light and easy to do in comparison. But what we're really looking to do is get this elbow to deliver into a correct position repeatedly to play better golf. One of the best ways for me to feel how this elbow is going to move is what I call the axe drill. And this is something I've adapted from a peak cowan drill years ago. But if you take your golf club and go to whack it right on top of its head like this, as if you were kind of making a hammer action or an axe action, swing back and then try and deliver the golf club in a more normal position, or even hammer it into the side like you would do normally, you'll see how this elbow gets in a much more dynamic and athletic position. So the axe drill in itself, just doing that, is a great way of you feeling how that elbow should work through the hitting zone. And even you can hit some golf balls with the toe of the club and try and feel what you're going to do and deliver that elbow back to the ball. Don't expect great shots. Obviously, you're hitting the ball with such a small object, but it's a great way of feeling how that elbow should be moving in a dynamic fashion in the delivery position of the golf swing. If we took a snapshot of all the best players in the world, we'd see their elbow working more in this way. And if we looked at most amateur golfers, we'd see their elbow kind of unloaded, I would call it, and pointing backwards pre-impact, rather than kind of pointing more towards the golf ball, which is exactly what we're looking to achieve. So it's a huge area and it delivers the golf club and pressure on the ball and that ball and turf strike effortlessly every time if we do this correctly. One of the other big keys for me is making sure we try and get it in front of the hip as opposed to trailing behind the hip, even if the elbow's trying to work correct. If you're trying to work it correct on the way down and it's behind this hip in this kind of trapped or stuck position, it's then going to throw itself through the ball. So one of the best ways of doing that and combining the two things together is if we take our setup and then do a cross leg drill, swing back, feel the elbows in front of that hip. We can also go and do the axe action at the same time. And that's a great way of doing some practice swings to feel that we're creating space between the elbow and the hip, but also we're getting the elbow in the correct dynamic fashion. Then what I'd recommend is we would do little waggles where we really focus on the elbow. We feel the hips are pretty quiet. The hips will have a little bit of lateral move, but try and feel there's very little rotational move at this phase, because if we start to get too rotational too eagerly, that's how we get that trapped move and sensation and feel. So we're very much just trying to create this dynamic move first. So if I go ahead and hit a ball now in a small swing, trying to create that dynamic move, and then the key is to build up from that small swing to bigger swings. We really want to feel that we can take a movement pattern and enlarge it naturally so we don't get in our own way in terms of our own baggage and how we want to swing the golf club and how we've always swung the golf club. So when we go to hit a normal shot, as I always preach really, a rehearsal swing is an excellent thing to do. And you could even do your rehearsal swing with the cross leg. And then go and hit a golf ball, try and feel you're going to repeat that same movement. And we're looking for improvement, not position perfect. Just improvement is all we want. One other great way of practicing the trail arm move is to do what I call a hand drill. So if you take your right hand on the golf club as normal, put your left hand behind the elbow, make a backswing, and again just feel that you're putting pressure on the elbow, and again you're trying to create the elbow beating the forearm beating the hand, and then we would turn and release that golf club correctly. There'd be overtaking, but the overtaking happens post impact.